a hop has a collision. Now let's talk about a switch. This is my switch, and this switch has 24 ports. Let's say, for instance, okay, my switch has 24 ports. That was a very bad cacography. So just 24, not that big a line. So 24 ports of a switch means you have 24 collision domains. Okay, every port of a switch is a collision domain of its own. Therefore, a collision on this port only affects this port. All these other ports are unaware of this collision. That is what you have to understand. So, but one switch, one entire switch without any configuration of VLANs is one broadcast domain. So a hop and a switch is one broadcast domain, and the number of collision domains depend on the number of ports. So we have to just say ports. Okay, that will write on the number of ports. I don't know how to write with this. So, but the one broadcast domain and number of collision domains will depend on the number of ports. For example, here we have 24 ports, so we have 24 collision domains. Unlike a hop, with a hop, even if you have 24 or 1000 ports, they remain in one collision domain. Now, let's take an example. I have a switch here, and this switch has 24 ports. I have another switch here directly connected to this other switch. This switch also have 24 ports. Now in this case, how many collision domains are here? The collision domains now are 48, but the broadcast domains is still as 1. We have two switches, but because they are connected directly on the same LAN, no division, nothing, they are just one broadcast domain, because a broadcast that is sent by this switch here would be received by every port on this switch equally, because there is this port connected to this other switch. The broadcast will transverse here also and then go to this other switch. So therefore, a broadcast in one switch would be thrown to another switch, so they all belong to the same broadcast domain. So you have one broadcast domain, and the number of collision is based on the number of ports on these two switches. So I hope this is very clear. So you may be asked in an exam, they may provide you a diagram and then ask you how many collision domains and how many broadcast domains. You have a hop there. A hop is one broadcast domain and one collision domain. A switch, one broadcast domain, and then the number of collision domains depend on the number of ports on the switch. Very clear, and I hope you guys understand this. So that is the basic explanation on that. One switch or multiple interconnected switch form one broadcast domain, and that's it. The following characteristics of switch help alleviate congestion. We have establishing full duplex lengths before eliminating collisions, high port density, and large. So that is the end of today's chapter. That is chapter 1 of chapter 4 of semester 2. So now let's look at these other explanations that you guys raised. You asked a question about a split horizon. Now, split horizon split horizon does not allow a routing protocol. Okay, the router will not allow a routing protocol to send or receive an update through the same interface that it first learned that particular update. Let's say, for instance, let's take a diagram. Now let me just go back to the definition. I said the router will not allow the routing protocol to receive an update through the same interface that it first learned that particular update. Now let's take an example. Now my router, let's say this is my topology. I have a frame relay topology, for instance, a hop and spoke network. Now this is my hop and spoke network. Let's say, for instance, this is my frame relay switch. So I have another router here, and then I have another router here. So this is my hop router. That is my hop router, and all these other spokes will communicate through the hop router. So it means if this spoke want to speak with this spoke, it has to come through the communication has to go to the hop router, then to this other spoke router. So now let's say, for instance, we have configured OSPF or EIGRP on this topology, this particular hop and spoke topology. Now The behavior of dynamic routing protocols is to send an update if at any time that there is a problem. Now, there is an increment network here on this hop router. Now, this hop router will send an update, okay, to this spoke. And then the same update will go to this other spoke. Now, the responsibility of dynamic routing protocols is that whenever I receive an update, I need to inform my neighbor. You see that? I need to inform my neighbor. So this spoke's neighbor is hop. This other spoke's also neighbor is hop. So now they may try and then they may try to return this update saying, okay, I have a friend or I have a neighbor that is hop here. I need to send back this update. So sending back this update here to this hop would cause what we call a loop. So in order to avoid that loop, when this frame comes through the same interface, like here, it comes right here, and then it enters the frame relay switch and want to come to this switch, to this router here, the router's interface would say, no, I have received this update from the same router that goes out, so this update cannot come back here. So in that case, you are avoiding a loop, the same update being transmitted endlessly between the routers. So that's what the split horizon will do. It will stop the routing protocol from receiving the update that first was generated on the same interface. That is what is split horizon. Now, the other thing that somebody asked was the poison reverse. So let me just talk about poison reverse quickly and what poison reverse does. Okay, just to answer your question, poison reverse has something to do with let's say rip routing. We were talking about rip routing, right? Now